Problem number 47. Problem number 47 is related to the scientific research. Keep in mind that in the field of biotechnology, we can't ignore the importance of scientific research. So the question related to problem number 47 is, how open should be the scientific research? Now, in order to answer this question, we must know the goals of scientific research. Before designing the scientific research or any project, we have to look at these goals. And the goals of scientific research are divided into three categories. First one is description, second one prediction, and the third one is explanation and proper understanding. So let's discuss these goals of scientific research one by one. First one is the description. Now keep in mind that whenever we talk about the description of the scientific research, it refers to the procedures involved in the scientific research. It is also used to define, categorize, or classify the subjects. Subjects can be blood samples, can be animals on which you are performing your research. So it is better to define the subject or classify them according to gender or according to age. Then afterwards we can determine the relationship between these subjects. For description, it is better to gather all the information from large number of population. So once a large group of people is involved, the data will be enough to analyze to predict further. Now keep in mind that description must be systematic and it should be precise. For that we use operational definitions to make it systematic. We have to characterize the events or classify the events as well as we have to maintain their qualities. इसके अलावा जो concepts हम observe कर रहे हैं, keep in mind that all the concepts should be observable, should be experimental. For that we have to make use of operations or of procedures in order to measure those variables. Let's talk about the second goal of scientific research, that is prediction. It comes after description. Prediction is basically in the form of hypothesis. There are two forms of hypothesis, null hypothesis or alternative hypothesis. Now whether the type of hypothesis is null or alternative, keep in mind that for prediction, hypothesis is very important. It should be tentative and it should be testable. Now hypotheses are derived from theories and they actually involve the interrelated set of concepts. So there is interrelation between the concepts that must be observable. Now after prediction, in order to prove our hypothesis, we have to explain a body of data, and after explanation we can go towards the prediction. Let's take an example कि अगर हम लो डाइट कैलोरी लेते हैं तो क्या वो हमारी ज़िंदगी या लाइफ स्पैन बढ़ा देता है. इसके अलावा दूसरी एग्जाम्पल that is related to the question of prediction is, does undergraduate GPA predict how well one will do in graduate school? क्या एक GPA के जरिए ही हम बता सकते हैं कि ग्रेजुएट स्टूडेंट अपने स्कूल में कितना अच्छा परफॉर्म कर रहा है. So here in predictions variables are involved. Hypothesis actually involves the interrelation of the set of concepts. So here we need variables. We can predict one variable by another. So the term correlation is used. If one variable is increasing and because of this variable the second variable also increases, this is known as positive correlation. But if one variable, suppose A, is increasing and variable B is decreasing because of variable A, this is known as negative correlation. Predictions are made with varying degrees of certainty. So here explanation is very important. That is the third goal of scientific research. Explanation and its proper understanding, because interpretation of scientific research is the final step of the scientific research and it is the most important one. Explanation is achieved when the causes or causes of a phenomena are identified. So once the cause of one variable or of the second variable is identified, we can explain the data well. So in order to determine the cause, we look at the three prerequisites, and these three prerequisites that affect the explanation or understanding are: number one, covariation of events, then proper time of order sequence, and the third prerequisite is the elimination of plausible alternative causes. Now let's discuss them one by one. First one is the covariation of events. Now keep in mind that we have to apply stats over here to measure the correlation between the variables. Now for the selections, keep in mind that statistical methods must be simple, otherwise it leads to the flawable use of the data. Statistical methods should be used in such a manner that they determine the strength and existence of relationship between the variables. So statistical variable methods determine the relationship between variables that must be strong, and we have to show the existence between these variables. The second prerequisite is the proper time order sequence. Now the cause must precede the effect. Here once the cause is identified, it can proceed in the manner that how these causes can affect. Here we can talk about the causes of phenomena as well. The third prerequisite that is involved in explanation and understanding is the elimination of plausible alternative causes. For example, अगर रिलेशनशिप दो वेरिएबल्स के दरमियान हम डिटर्मिन कर रहे हैं एंड दीज वेरिएबल्स आर ए एंड बी, और इन दोनों वेरिएबल्स के दरमियान जो रिलेशनशिप है वो जाली या खोटा नहीं है, देन डोंट कंसिडर वेरिएबल सी. जैसे ही आपने वेरिएबल सी को स्टैटिस्टिकल मेथड से कंट्रोल किया, you will lose the importance of variable A and B, because here the variables A and B get vanish or disappear once the variable C get controlled.